The surface of the moon has been mapped in more detail than the floor of Earth's oceans. We have explored less than 20% of our own ocean. The other 80%, covering more than half of the surface of this planet, remains completely unknown to science. And in the darkness of that unexplored 80%, things are happening that we cannot explain. Sounds are being recorded that no known creature or geological process can produce. Structures appear on sonar following no natural pattern. Creatures surface from the deep that should not exist according to everything biology understands about life. Today on the Forbidden Files, we go into the deepest, darkest, most mysterious place on Earth. Welcome back to the Forbidden Files. I'm your host. Today we go somewhere that makes every other location we have visited look familiar. That is the deep ocean and what lives and what exists in its darkest depth. Mystery number 1, the Bloop. In 1997, the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded something extraordinary on its underwater microphone network. A sound rising rapidly in frequency, extraordinarily powerful, detected simultaneously by the hydrophones for 5,000 kilometers apart. They called it the Bloop. The Bloop was the loudest underwater sound ever recorded, far louder than any known biological sources. For it to have been produced by a living creature, scientists calculated that creature would need to be several times larger than the largest animals ever known to have existed on Earth. The sound was traced to Point Nemo, the most remote point on Earth's surface, further from the land in every direction than any other location on the planet. A place so remote that the nearest humans are often the astronauts on the International Space Stations above it. In 2012, the NOAA suggested the bloop was caused by ice crack activity, large ice masses cracking in Antarctica. Many accepted this. Others noted the frequency profile matched biological sounds far more closely than geological ones. Whatever made the loudest sound ever recorded in Earth's oceans at the most remote location on the planet. The debate has never been fully settled. Mystery number 2, the Mariana Trench Metallic Scream. The Mariana Trench is the deepest place on Earth, nearly 11 kilometers below the surface if you place Mount Everest at the bottom. Its peak would still be over 2 kilometers underwater. In 2016, a team from Oregon State University lowered hydrophones into the trench and recorded its soundscape for 24 days. What they captured was a complete mystery. They recorded a sound they described as a metallic biological scream, rising and falling in frequency, repeating at irregular intervals, with a tonal structure matching no known geological process, but also not matching any known biological sound source. The team's lead researcher described it as sounding like something that should not exist at those depths, at nearly 11 kilometers under pressure that would crush a human body instantly. Conditions for complex biological life were considered extreme, and yet the sound had biological characteristics. The Mariana Trench has been physically visited only a handful of times. Each time, explorers have reported seeing shapes in the darkness and movements at the edge of their lights that had no name. In the deepest place on Earth, we have barely looked, and what little we have seen, we have not able to explain yet in detail. Mystery number 3, the underwater geometric circles. In 1995, divers of Japan began finding mysterious geometric circles on the ocean floor, perfectly symmetrical, up to 2 meters across, elaborately patterned with radiating ridges, valleys and detailed decorative edges, created with remarkable precision in the sand. For years nobody knew what was making them. They appeared overnight, perfect, beautiful, completely baffling. In 2011, marine biologists discovered the answer. A tiny pufferfish, less than 13 centimeters long, was creating these enormous circles entirely by itself, using only its fins, working 24 hours a day to 7 to 9 days continuously without stopping. But the mystery deepened rather than resolved. The mathematical precision of the ridges and valleys follows specific geometric ratios. The placement of shell fragments at specific locations within the circle is consistent and deliberate. How does a 13-centimeter fish with a brain the size of a grain of rice understand geometry? How does it execute mathematical ratios with its fins in the darkness of the ocean floor? The answer, we genuinely do not know. The intelligence demonstrated goes far beyond what science can currently explain for a creature of this complexity. Mystery number 4, the Baltic Sea Anomaly. In 2011, a Swedish treasure hunting team scanning the Baltic Sea floor detected something that stopped everyone on the boat cold. A circular object on the ocean floor, approximately 60 meters in diameter, perfectly flat top surface, steep angled sides, sitting at the end of a 300-meter trail of disturbed ocean floor, as if the object had come to the sliding stone. When divers went down to investigate, they found the object was made up of an unknown material, not rock, not metal, not any substance they could identify, covered in a black sooty residue, with the perfectly rectangular opening at its edge leading into darkness. And here is the detail that made this story genuinely strange. Every electronic device the divers carried, cameras, lights, communication equipment, failed completely when within 200 meters of the object. They worked perfectly everywhere else, failed consistently near the object. Geologists suggest it could be a glacial deposit shaped by ice movement. Reasonable, possibly correct, but rock does not interfere with electronics. That detail, consistent, documented and repeated across multiple dives, has never been explained by any geological theory. The Baltic Sea Anomaly sits at 85 meters depth. It has never been fully identified, and it is still down there. The loudest ever recorded from the most remote place on Earth, a metallic scream from the deepest place on the planet. A tiny fish that understands geometry, and an identified object that disables electronics. 71% of this planet is covered by ocean, and we have explored less than a fifth of it. Whatever is down there, we have barely begun to discover it. Which of these deep ocean mysteries disturbed you the most? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to the Forbidden Files. Follow me. See you tomorrow in the next mystery. Take care.